girl gang? You are watching the Gregorio Girls Makeup channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Devin and I run this beauty channel with my sister Shauna. And if you're not new, as always, welcome back. We love you. So we've got a couple things going on today. I'm filming a couple different videos for you guys, but I am going to be talking to you guys about this foundation right here. So this is the new-ish. I think it's been out for probably about a month at this point, but this is the new NYX Born to Glow Naturally Radiant Foundation. All right, so first thing first, let us consult the website and learn a little bit more about this foundation. It says it comes in 45 different shades. So you can see all these shades here on the website. It retails for $10. You get 1.01 fluid ounces in there. And then I did pick up 2 different shades of this foundation. So the first one I grabbed was shade 06 Vanilla. So this one is formulated for a lighter skin tone with a neutral undertone. So this I feel like will be the best match for my natural skin tone. And then this one is the shade 10.3 Neutral Buff. And even though it has neutral in the name, it's actually a beige with a warm undertone. So this I thought would be really good for when I have my self tanner on and it's like at its deepest. And then obviously I can mix the two to kind of customize the shade that I want depending on if I have a tan, if I don't, if I'm somewhere in between, that kind of thing. So that's why I like to get 2 different shades. And then I also did pick up the Born to Glow Illuminating Primer as well. This is not new. I think this has been around for a little bit. But I like primers that have a little bit of a pearlescent finish. I like that little extra luminosity that you can add in with it. So I picked it up because I figured why not? We can see how they work together. Also, I do want to let you guys know that this is not a first impression of this foundation. I have worn it twice before over the past couple of days just to kind of test it out. Just because I feel like first impressions and like what your actual final opinions are of the foundation can really change. So I thought it would be more useful to test it out a little bit and then get on camera and talk about my experience with it so far as I'm trying it on for you guys. So hopefully that's helpful. So the way that I want to work this is that I am going to try this foundation on with all the other products that I usually use on my complexion on a daily basis, like products that I've already tried, I know I like, I know they work for me, I know they work for my skin, and I know I like the color, so that we can really just zero in on this foundation. Now, the one thing that I do want to say is I did try this foundation out once with the NYX primer and then once with my Too Faced Hangover primer, and I didn't notice too much of a difference. It's a water-based foundation. These are both water-based primers, so there you go. But for the purposes of this video, I do want to try this guy on for you guys just so you can see what it looks like. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my NYX Born to Glow primer that I've been talking about for like 2 straight minutes now. So we're going to go ahead and just get a little bit of that on the face. My face is going to turn bright red as it always does when I touch it. And then next I am going to take my foundations here. So I think I have like a decent amount of tanner on, so I think I can get away with mostly this color. I'm just going to get a little dollop on there. Yeah, actually I think I'll be able to get away with that. It might need to be lightened a little bit, but let's just see how this looks by itself because it blends in with my neck. I don't have tanner on my face, but it looks like it's blending in pretty well with my neck. So let's take a look, shall we? So I'm just gonna get a little bit of that on my sponge. And on the website, it did say that this is a medium buildable foundation. After wearing it twice, I definitely would agree with that. 1 coat doesn't cover everything, but if you build it up to 2 coats, I really found that like just doing a 2nd coat in places where I wanted more coverage, I did find that I could build it up pretty much to full coverage. So I'll try to illustrate that for you guys here. This looks very yellow on me right now. Okay, let me zoom you in so you can see the coverage a little bit better. So you can see, I mean, a decent amount of coverage, but if you look closely, like you can still kind of see my pores in here, which actually I meant to put a pore filling primer on my nose and I forgot, so oops. And you can still see a little bit of my redness through here as well. So we're gonna give it another coat and just see if we can kind of cover a little bit of that up with another coat of foundation. All right, so just taking a light coat here and going over the places where I want a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but you can definitely see, like, it definitely added more coverage on this side in terms of covering up some of my redness as opposed to this side. Okay, so here is the foundation done. So I'm looking at the monitor. I do feel like this color looks a little bit crazy in the light. It's coming across really yellow on camera. In person, it's a little bit more of a better match. I think it is slightly dark and slightly yellow for me still, but that's okay because we can kind of doctor that all up with concealer and it'll be fine. I'm not worried about that. In terms of the coverage, I think it's nice. In terms of the finish, it's not as glowy as like the L'Oreal Pro Glow or the Flower Beauty Light Illusion. Those are definitely, like when I think of a dewy foundation, those foundations are the first ones that come to mind. This one has the glow, but it's definitely a little bit less. I would even argue that this is a little bit more of a satin finish than what I would consider a glowy, dewy finish. So it's called Naturally Radiant, which I feel like something more of like a natural satin finish. If that's what this is supposed to be, I would agree with that. It is called Born to Glow, so that also leads me to believe that it is supposed to be a little bit glowy. So I would just say don't be misled by the name. I don't think it's as glowy as the Pro Glow. I think this is more of like a middle of the spectrum, like natural satin, not quite there with the dewiness yet, if that makes sense. So that being said, we are going to move on and I'm gonna put some concealer and powder on. So I'm just gonna kind of breeze through this. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer and this is in the shade 120 Light Vanilla. Then to set my under eye concealer, I'm going to use the Maybelline Loose Fit Me powder in the shade 10 Fair Light. And I'm just going to use that underneath my eyeballs. And then for the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Fit Me Loose powder, and this is in the shade 20 Light Medium. And then to dust off my under eyes, I'm going to take a little bit of my Too Faced banana powder. I've been liking using this step to like dust off the loose powder under my eyes because it just helps, like if there's any little bit of like a white cast or anything like that that just has a slight yellowy tint to it that makes it look a little bit more natural and a little bit less white. Like see how smooth that under eye looks? I love it. Normally I wouldn't like spend the money on a powder like this, but this is worth the money. Alright, and then I'm going to set this down with a little bit of my e.l.f. Dewy Setting Mist, which I have been liking, but I wish the spray was different because it like shoots out. Whew! Alright, let me zoom in again. So just so you guys can see kind of like the finished product of like the base once we powdered and set everything down. I just want you to see the finish. So obviously putting that concealer on definitely helped like lighten up the color a little bit so it wasn't quite as yellow, which is like my favorite trick in the world. We all know that's the best way to make your foundation match if it's a little bit off. But yeah. Okay, so I actually am going to leave the foundation like this right now and just talk a little bit. So like I said, this is actually my third time trying this foundation on. I did wear it once on the 4th of July and then once the next day just like out running around the city with my friends. So what I do want to say is that my like first impressions of it the first time I wore it, I was like, like this isn't that glowy. I was expecting something a little bit more glowy, especially after I set it down with the powder. Like setting it down with that powder definitely does mattify it. So if you're somebody like me and you like to set that foundation down with a lot of powder, I just like to use a lot of powder. I just do. I would rather use, like my ideal combination is like dewy foundation, concealer, lots of powder, and then lots of setting spray just to kind of like melt all the powders in and bring the dewiness back to life. That's typically what I do with my skin, but I'm not too oily and I'm not too dry. I kind of sit right in the middle. I think my skin looks really nice right now. I don't think that it looks too heavy. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing a lot of makeup, but I do think that it gives me the coverage that I like to see in a foundation. So that is going to be it for this this portion of the video, I am going to insert a wear test that I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I'm going to take you guys throughout the workday with me. I'm going to do my makeup exactly how I did it today, and we're just going to test it out and see how it wears throughout the workday for me. So I'll do a couple check-ins with you guys, and then we will regroup at the end of the night tomorrow night, and I'll give you my final thoughts. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, good morning. So it is actually not the next day. It is, oh gosh, I'm probably over a week later. When I filmed that video, I filmed a wear test, then that phone broke. I had to get a new phone, and just life has been happening since then. So anyway, it's not the next day. It's a little bit later, but I do have the Born to Glow foundation on today, and I am going to take you guys through a wear test today. So right now, I just got in my car to drive to work. It is about 6:45 in the morning, and this is how we're looking so far. So again, I have a full face of products that I already know that I know and love, and I think we're looking pretty good so far, pretty smooth. The only difference that I will say is that I used a little bit less powder than you guys just watched me apply in like the try on portion of this video, and I actually like it with less powder. It doesn't look as heavy. It just looks a little bit more natural, but I think it looks soft, and I think it looks glowy enough, and we'll see how we do throughout the day. All right, you guys, so doing another check-in with you here. It is about 2:15, and it is the end of my workday because it's Friday, and we have summer Fridays at my office, which is super fun. So I just want to give you guys a look at what my foundation is looking like at the end of the day. So you can see here where my foundation definitely rubbed off. I'm always going like this at my computer throughout the day, so that doesn't really bother me. And for the most part, I think we are still intact. I've got a few pieces here where it looked like it separated a little bit. That honestly looks like it could be more my concealer separating on me, so I don't know what that's about because that doesn't usually happen. But for the most part, I'd say we stayed pretty smooth. I'm a little bit oily on my nose, but honestly guys, I don't think that this is a super glowy foundation, even though it's called Born to Glow. So I do think the name is a little bit misleading. That being said, I kind of like that because it is the summertime. It is more, I am more prone to be sweaty and more oily. But I will say, if you are somebody with oily skin and you typically can't do like a L'Oreal Pro Glow or a more glowy, dewy foundation because it just slips all over your face, this really isn't that slippy. So I'd be curious to see like what somebody with oily skin would think of this foundation, because I have a hunch that it would be a good option if you wanted something that was a little bit more radiant but still stayed fairly matte throughout the day. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I really do have that just like satin matte finish right now. So final thoughts, I think it's a nice foundation. Am I over the moon about it? No. Do I hate it? Also no. I'm glad I tried it. I think for 10 bucks it is worth the try, and I do think that this is a decent summer foundation. Like, I do see myself continuing to wear this throughout the summer and not being worried about it getting too like oily or slippy or like moving all over my face. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed the review and the wear test. If you've tried this foundation, definitely let me know down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your skin type is. I want to hear how this is working for all of you guys. Before you leave, if you have not already subscribed to the Gregorio Girls channel, please consider doing so that you don't miss any videos from Shauna or I or both of us. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next Gregorio Girls video. Mwah. Love you. Bye.